Good evening, you're watching News Mongolia and Beyond. I'm your host, Anna Gambatar. In for top stories, Lao's Foreign Minister paid a 3-day visit to Mongolia. Special school number 55 started the new school year with 500 students. New milk collection system introduced for a local dairy cooperative. And for the news, stay tuned. From September 3rd through 5th, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Laos, Komasiv, paid an official visit to Mongolia for the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations.
The last time a Lao Foreign Minister visited Mongolia was 20 years ago. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Komasiv, was invited by Mongolian Foreign Affairs Minister Batsitsik. This was Foreign Minister Salomsay's first visit to Mongolia. On the first day of his visit, Minister Salomsay met with Mongolian President Hurusukh and Parliament Speaker Zandashatar. On September 4th, the foreign ministers of the two countries held official talks and signed a memorandum of cooperation. The main topic of discussion was expanding economic ties and investment, increasing exports and imports, planning further cooperation and strategic partnership on agricultural products and food, transportation and logistics, tourism and other high-end sectors.
There are 6 schools and 2 kindergartens in Mongolia for children with disabilities. One of these schools is school number 55, which started the new school year with 500 students and specialized classrooms.
Students from every corner of Mongolia enroll at school number 55. This year, the school prepared specialized classrooms for speech therapy, a micro-greenhouse, daycare, and a first aid office. Inspired by the American Autism Association, the school also built a special room that allows parents to see how their children function in the classroom. The daycare can accommodate up to 25 children. Their school day includes meals, nap time, and playtime. The first aid office has breathing and respiratory equipment, massage tables, eye exam equipment, and more. The office staff will be able to provide students with immediate medical assistance.
Children with autism or disabilities must not be left behind in education. Government policy is to allow these children to fit into society. It's our responsibility to improve the educational and living environment for these children.
At our school, every student has their own special needs, so we offer them individual lesson plans. We can't conduct a general curriculum for all students, which happens at regular schools. We work with each student using different methods based on their skill and abilities. This year, 2,635 children with disabilities attend school in the capital city. More action is required to ensure all students are treated fairly and have equal opportunities.
A new milk collection system has been introduced in Batsumbursum province. This dairy cooperative is collecting milk under new quality standards that benefit local herders.
The Narni Gigenset Milk Collection Center, which translates to Early Sunrise Milk, was established by Apo Dairy LLC in collaboration with the local herder cooperative and some administrators. Under the new collection system, herders will receive incentives based on the quality of their milk. The dairy cooperative members will also have better access to loans for their small and medium-sized businesses. Local administrators also say they will support the cooperative by providing land for commercial farming.
Through the milk collection system, the milk can be purchased at a regular high price. This also means milk will now smoothly reach local and overseas consumers while it's still fresh. To develop a benchmark for dairy cooperatives, Apo Dairy LLC signed memorandums of understanding with 5 sums in 2 provinces. Our first eco-friendly benchmark dairy cooperative has been established in Batsumbursum.
The milk collected from local herders is stored in a chilling container. The milk collection system is designed to accelerate milk distribution to consumers and benefit local herders.
Here's the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here we have the inspirational story of an elderly couple who upgraded their yard using recycled materials.
Starting in 2016, Antomur's family started decorating their yard using materials that would typically be thrown away. From the walkway to their outdoor lamps, the family upcycled everything. A glass jar was turned into outdoor lighting for their walkway. They even built a covered patio, fountain, and dance floor for their guests. The greenhouse and outdoor artwork keep the garden lively. We came to Ulaanbaatar in 2013. Our children encouraged us to buy an apartment, but my husband insisted on buying a house with a yard, saying he would get bored all day in an apartment. I still think he made the right decision. We often walk around our yard, which keeps us healthy. My high blood pressure stays under control when I walk around. My husband is never idle. He's always creating something.
We were both teachers, and I believed a teacher is someone who should always set a good example for their students and open their eyes to new ideas. With that mindset, I always capture new ideas by taking photos wherever I go. After combining those ideas, I designed my art.
The elderly couple says the living environment they have created gives them peace and joy. They love to invite their friends over for dancing. Since they used recycled materials, the garden's features were also affordable.
Since 2011, more than 2,000 Mongolian citizens have received bachelor's and master's degrees from foreign universities. Although they have a sincere desire to contribute to the country's development, there are many cases of such graduates going abroad because of the challenges in finding suitable employment in Mongolia. Bilgun graduated in 2008 and returned to Mongolia in April 2009. I thought that when I came back to Mongolia, I would have a good career working on big projects for big international organizations. Unfortunately, at that time, I noticed that the company owners and their managing directors had some communication issues. He said that of the 20 students he graduated with in Germany, only 3 of them currently live in Mongolia. Bilgun has 4 years of experience working in the public sector. It was interesting. My first salary was 600,000 MNT. When I became chief of staff, my salary increased to only 800,000 MNT. My friends who started working in the private sector brought great ideas with them, but personally, I think that the infrastructure of private sector companies is poorly developed. Many critics say that the Mongolian educational system doesn't guarantee success. A lack of understanding from Mongolian companies and government pressure are cited as the main reasons for Mongolian graduates of foreign universities choosing to live abroad. The high cost of quality childhood education is also a deterrent to stay in Mongolia. We also spoke to Dolma, a graduate of a French university.
Culture and company policies in Mongolia and abroad are very different. It starts with job requirements. When you apply for a new position, most companies won't reply to your online application.
Institute analysts say there is also a lack of teamwork culture in Mongolia. Dolma hopes to introduce the best international practices in human resource management for domestic enterprises to compete at the global level. Young people who have returned to Mongolia have raised concerns about issues such as corruption, bureaucracy, and an unclear legal environment. But there are opportunities for graduates to work in Mongolia's public sector. After graduation, of course, I decided to live in Mongolia. The market abroad is saturated, but you can live well. That's not the case here, but in the long run, we feel like we are creating our own wealth here.
People in Mongolia are bad at cooperation. Each company has its own problems. We try to solve them, but if we do things together, there is a chance to move the country toward development in that area.
According to a study conducted by the Ulaanbaatar Youth Development Office, 54% of graduates with foreign degrees work in the private sector, 30% work for government organizations, and a few work for startup businesses. Experts say support and incentives are needed to integrate them into the Mongolian workforce and to use their knowledge to advance the country's development. Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at our international news from our partner agencies. A series of stabbings at an indigenous community and at another town nearby in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan left 10 people dead and 15 wounded, Canadian police Sunday, as they searched for two suspects. The stabbings took place in multiple locations on the James Smith Cree Nation and in the village of Walden, northeast of Saskatchewan, police said. Rhonda Blackmore, the Assistant Commissioner of the RCMP Saskatchewan, said some of the victims appeared to have been targeted by the suspects, but others appeared to have been attacked at random. She couldn't provide a motive.
Today, September 4th, at 5:40 this morning, the Saskatchewan Divisional Operations Communication Centre, or the RCMP DOCC, received a call reporting a stabbing on the James Smith Cree Nation. In the following minutes, our DOCC received multiple calls reporting additional stabbings at different locations in the community. The suspects named were Damien Sanderson and Miles Sanderson.
She said there are 13 crime scenes where either deceased or injured people were found. She urged the suspects to turn themselves in. Walden resident Diane Shear said she was in her garden Sunday morning when she noticed emergency crews a couple of blocks away. Shear said her neighbor was killed. She did not want to identify the victim out of respect for his family. James Smith Cree Nation declared a state of emergency. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Sunday once again condemned any attempts to deny or downplay the Holocaust. Those who question the Holocaust, who make false comparisons, trivialize and falsify history, they incite hatred and violence, they ridicule the victims. We made this unmistakably clear to the Palestinian leadership after Mahmoud Abbas' outrageous derailment here on German soil, said Scholz. In those comments, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said Israel had committed 50 Holocausts against Palestinians. The remarks during a news conference in Berlin alongside Scholz last month sparked outrage in Germany, Israel and beyond. The Holocaust, the killing of 6 million people, is singular. Those who question the Holocaust, who make false comparisons, trivialize and falsify history, they incite hatred and violence, they ridicule the victims. We made this unmistakably clear to the Palestinian leadership after Mahmoud Abbas' outrageous derailment here on German soil. Scholz also said the first German anti-Semitism, right-wing extremism and racism was a top priority for the German government. Last year, the number of anti-Semitic crimes in Germany had increased by about 30% compared to the previous year to more than 3,000. We can only combat this if a political system that is prepared to take action and a committed civil society work together, the Chancellor said. The Circle of Friends of Yad Vashem in Germany was founded in 1997 in Frankfurt am Main and is now based in Berlin. As part of the international network, the association aims to support the work of the Holocaust Memorial. Now let's take a look at our regular feature on sports. Nick Kyrgios ended the unlimited defense of the US Open title as he earned in a thrilling 4-set win on an entertaining night in New York City. The 27-year-old Australian demonstrated all of his shot-making and a propensity for creating drama in a 7-6, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-2 win in the last 16. Medvedev, aged 26, will lose his ranking as world number 1 after defeat. Wimbledon runner-up Kyrgios goes on to play another Russian, 27-seed Karen Khachanov in the quarterfinals. Khachanov reached his third Grand Slam quarterfinal by outlasting Spanish 12-seed Pablo Carreño Busta in a win. It was an amazing match. Obviously, Daniil is the defending champion and a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I've been playing amazing recently, said 23rd-seed Kyrgios, who will move back into the world's top 20 after the win. Apart from Serena Williams' farewell, this was the biggest blockbuster of the tournament so far and a matchup between two entertaining players, which would have befitted the later stages. The pair have been two of the standout players on the ATP Tour in recent months, with Kyrgios winning the most tour matches since the start of June with 25 victories, and Medvedev next behind him with and alongside Britain's Cameron Norrie on 18. Both players promised beforehand to put on a show on the Sunday night of a holiday weekend in New York. They did not disappoint, and almost 3 hours of ferocious serving, baseline blows, momentum swings and bizarre moments entertained a near-capacity 24,000 crowd on a sticky night on Arthur Ashe Stadium. Max Verstappen claimed victory on home soil at an action-packed Dutch Grand Prix to further extend his lead at the top of Formula One's Drivers' Championship. Verstappen stormed past Lewis Hamilton in the closing stages after some safety car drama to send 100,000 Dutch fans into a frenzy at Zandvoort. The 24-year-old was greeted by orange flares and a sea of orange shirts as he crossed the finish line to claim his second straight victory at the Dutch Grand Prix. Mercedes' George Russell equalized his best finish in Formula One with a distant second place, and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc came in third, leaving Hamilton to finish a disappointing fourth after it looked for a while he might challenge Verstappen for the win.
It's always special to win your home Grand Prix. It was already last year. This year I have to say I had to work for it even more. So yeah, an incredible weekend, and I'm really happy we got the Dutch Grand Prix.
You know, I think as a team today we showed incredible pace. I know that the team result wasn't quite what we hoped for, but this gives us a lot of confidence and a lot of faith moving forward. So I think it's incredible to see 3 different teams on the podium, and you know, we as Mercedes slowly getting closer to that top step. So let's keep on pushing.
Verstappen's 10th win matched his tally from last year, and the Red Bull driver extended his championship lead to 109 points. With 7 races left, a second straight title is looking increasingly likely as his challenges, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and teammate Sergio Perez in joint second, continue to fall further back. George Russell finished second for Mercedes ahead of Leclerc, with Lewis Hamilton dropping from first to fourth. Here's the weather forecast of world's major cities. Well, that's all for now, and thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.